What's up? You're watching HIVEMIND, the loudest show on the internet. Sorry. I'm Riley, and as always, I'm joined by my honest co-host, Graydon.
I ain't lying.
And today we're going to tell you about 10 underground artists who will blow up in 2020. But first, do you want to go inside?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, man. It's cold out there.
Not so bad. It was 60 in Antarctica.
65 in Antarctica. Let's not get into politics yet.
No, not yet. The caucus was rigged!
So every year, a few lucky artists buckle in and take a ride that lands them with mainstream notoriety. Whether they sign to a big label or have their big viral moment, every year a few people go from being basically nobodies with worthless lives, and then they end up as a household name.
And tons of money and happiness.
Yeah, and happiness and money. I mean,
Same thing.
little redundant, yeah. We're going to tell you 10 people that we think are going to end up household names by the end of 2020, or somewhere close to that. And then at the end of the video, we're also going to go through who we picked in 2019 and see where they are now. See if you can trust us if we picked good people.
Numbers do not lie.
Let's jump into it. Artist number 1, SEBii. So let's talk about SEBii. SEBii is originally from China. At least that's what I've heard, that he's originally from China by way of Rhode Island. That's where he lives now.
Naturally.
And he's part of the kind of the Atlantis scene of SoundCloud right now.
Atlantis?
Atlantis, yes.
Wow.
Just discovered.
An undiscovered scene.
I really had to discover this guy. But so he's part of World and Iced Out Angels, two collectives making a lot of noise on SoundCloud right now, and is known for having kind of a unique and high-pitched voice when he sings. He sings and raps, but his voice has this kind of unique cadence to it. And I believe one of his bios, either on SoundCloud or on Instagram, says that he does not pitch up his vocals. Okay. So it's kind of the 645AR thing, kind of advertising the natural
falsetto,
the natural oddness of his voice. He just put out a project called VVV with Faded Black Kid from World, producer, and they did a really brilliant marketing scheme for this project. So he had one song that he released with an open on it, and he had a contest to see who would be on the song.
Okay.
And had everybody post them on their individual SoundClouds, the full song with his artwork and hashtag VVV.
Right.
And it was on 150 different people's SoundClouds, so it gained him a lot of notoriety. Yeah. And then the project ended up having, I believe, two or three of those artists, like their versions of the song.
It's a good way to crowdsource a feature, too.
Right. And he's one of my favorite artists right now. If you haven't heard of him, you should check out Butterfly Bankai. He has a video for that on YouTube that is a really interesting looking video, one of his catchiest songs, and then a song called Ba Ba Ba, where the line is, "I'm a goat like Ba Ba Ba," which I think is pretty funny.
That's nice.
I think SEBii's going to be huge by the end of the year. He only has 4,000 followers on Instagram right now, so you're early.
Artist number 2, Kassa Overall. Artist that I first want to say is Kassa Overall. He's New York based, but Seattle born, I think is what the internet will tell you. A recent signee to the Bronzewood record label, which is Giles Peterson out of the UK, which is like a real like jazz kind of new fusion label that is home to a ton of artists that I already like. And I got hip to him about a week before he did the signing, so it was very serendipitous as I discovered him. But this is like the quintessential jazz rap. If you love jazz and the fusion of hip hop and it, he is a drummer producer first, kind of like a jazz musician first, and now is taking a step to do a solo career. Project by him that I would recommend everyone go to listen to is Go Get Ice Cream and Listen to Jazz. That's the name of the project. And then he has a few like projects that are, one's called Drake It Till You Make It, and they are just like jazzed out versions of Drake songs.
Really?
And it's just like kind of it's like an engineering feat, like alone. Like the instrumentation is just kind of exciting, but it's over these familiar songs, obviously. And he's been releasing singles for what I imagine to be a new album, probably in a few months. So if you're into jazz and into kind of unorthodox hip hop, I would recommend Kassa Overall for sure.
Artist number 3, Bktherula. All right, Bktherula out of Atlanta. One of my favorite artists right now, has a song called Tweakin' Together that went super crazy last year. I think the video's near 500,000 on YouTube, could be more than that. and just released a project called Love Santana. She can be hard and melodic, often in the same song. Has a lot of quotables, but has this kind of just this energy of like melodic Atlanta music that doesn't sound like other melodic Atlanta music. I think she's the first of her kind, and I also think she has massive star power.
Yeah,
there's something about her that has like rock star energy, coming from someone who's pretty much making melodic rap music. And she works a lot with Hook out of LA, who's another artist I've mentioned a lot on this podcast before. And they actually, when they combine, they put out songs as Hula. So Hook and Bktherula. And she's got some really cool stuff coming soon. We just we're lucky enough to go to Rula Fest in Atlanta. Check out our vlog from that. But people were responding like I hadn't seen in the underground in a long time to an artist, to Bktherula. She's got 31,000 on Instagram. I expect that number to skyrocket by the end of 2020. Yeah, she's going to be huge. I have no doubt about it.
Artist number 4, Wynne. The next artist I want to tell you about is Wynne, Wynne. This is a girl born, raised Toronto, I believe.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was a West Coaster.
No, and I kind of thought I thought it was too, because she's touring with Mick Jenkins right now, and like she has a JID feature on her newest project, If I May, that is a crazy good song. This is like a girl who has endless bars, like almost lyrical miracle, like relentless bars, but has a really good singing voice too, and a strong talent for hooks. Like all of her hooks are really catchy. When I made my way through the project the first time, they were stuck in my head for days. And
if I may interject, some of you guys might remember her from a viral moment where she had a line about being Eminem's daughter, and then it went viral under the impression or the misperception that she was Eminem's daughter rapping. And so there were a bunch of headlines everywhere like Eminem's daughter has bars, blah, 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 blah. She is not Eminem's daughter, but she does have bars, so it makes sense. And she looks like she could be.
Yeah.
Like she's a blonde girl, you know?
I just got thrown off because I know there's a track on the album that I really like called Rose City, and it makes me think that maybe she's from Portland, but the internet told me she was Toronto born at least.
I'm positive.
You're sure
she's from
Portland?
She lives in Portland, or is from that scene, I believe.
So maybe Toronto born, now Portland based.
Right.
And you can kind of hear some of that, like Northwest, some of the like characteristics of that style of hip hop, like Speaks Your Mind puts on for a city, and it's like a little old school in some ways. Like she's not like trying to be Megan Thee Stallion or anything. Like it is pretty rooted in like classical hip hop. So
from someone like me, I would say that it's more than a little old school. It's very old school.
And so if that's what you're into, which is definitely the way I lean when it comes to rap hip hop, give her a check out. She's got 96,000 on Instagram right now, so she maybe have already had her blown up moment, but I do expect her to be headlining her own tours this next year and go even further, because I think her appeal is like pretty wide.
Right. Artist number 5, Suckerpunk.
Artist number 5!
All right, next I want to tell you about Suckerpunk. Suckerpunk is an artist.
You call me?
Right. So Suckerpunk is an artist from Charlotte, North Carolina. I believe she's only 17 years old. I could be mistaken, but I've heard rumors that she's 17. She makes kind of SoundCloud era synth pop and rock music. It could be mistaken for Neela World or emo rap. She uses some Neela World production. But I think that her songs are crafted like synth pop songs or like rock songs from the 90s and a lot of her stuff. But she works with a lot of people like Lil Spirit, and I believe she has production from Glacier from Neela World. But I just find her appeal to be absolutely huge. I think she kind of breathes new life into a sound that I feel like had gotten stale over the last decade. And I believe because of kind of the filter that she's in, of a lot of SoundCloud people are gonna hear her, I think those people will be really excited about it because they haven't heard maybe the stuff that inspired her. Yeah. And so I imagine she'll be working with a lot of the people who are kind of reinventing rock music in SoundCloud. And she's super young, and yeah, I'm really excited about her music. She has a bunch of singles out, and she has an EP on SoundCloud that came out tail end of 2019. So check it out.
Artist number 6, SilkMoney, with a money sign. I want to shout out or tell you guys about SilkMoney, spelled with a $, naturally. This is like, it's like psychedelic Denzel Curry kind of. Like it has like there's definitely a psychedelic element to it in the sense where like beats kind of sound like old Earl beats, but like a little harder, like not as ambient. But definitely like huge soundscapes to listen to. Like the instrumentals, at least on his project, Get the Fuck Off My Dick, which is an acronym, is just like stuff I have really never heard, or it all felt like relatively new to me and exciting, and that always gets me going on a project. If you're a fan of like, I don't know, Isaiah Rashad, Denzel Curry, he's like in that lane, but definitely has something different going on, like isn't talking about the same old shit. Pretty undiscovered right now, about 13.5 on IG. Born and raised in Virginia. That scene, that scene is alive and well right now, and I think he's got a really bright future. That project that I mentioned, the GTFOMD, for our younger fans out there,
Right.
is worth a listen. There's tons of good skits on it. It's like very, like you want to listen to that front to back. Don't just go grab one song and think you're going to get everything out of it, because he has mass versatility.
My nose is running. Thanks for that cocaine.
Artist number 7.
All right.
That is funny. Artist number 7, Skaiwater.
Next person I want to tell you about is Skaiwater, who I just found out is from the UK, from Nottingham. Is that how you say it?
Nottingham.
Nottingham? Is that actually how you say it?
I don't, well, they might say it like
They
that.
might say it like that? Okay. I thought he was from Atlanta because I know he has ties to Lil Nas X, and I found him on SoundCloud.
Right.
I found him on SoundCloud before I knew he had ties to Lil Nas X, but then Lil Nas X was promoting his music on Twitter and stuff. But anyway, got like a really melodic and soulful sound, but uses some of that genre-bending like rock instrumentation in his beats. Some of it reminded me of like Kanye for some reason. But it's very melodic. I think fans of like Lil Tecca and the Kid Laroi and all that might like him too. I don't know that much about like his personality or anything. I think that it comes through in his music, but I just don't see that much online from him. But yeah, he's opening for Noah Cyrus on tour in the UK, which I thought was kind of funny. And that's kind of how I was starting to question if he was from the US. But yeah, so he's really, really cool. I think he's got 8,600 followers on Instagram right now. I expect that number to really skyrocket in 2020. I think he'll have a huge year. I think it would just take like one single. Maybe he'll work with Lil Nas X or some of the people that Lil Nas X is around too. But yeah, I think he had a project called, I don't want to be wrong, so I'm gonna look it up real quick. After God, Fear Eve, that came out in 2019, that I quite like. There's a song called The Fall on there. There's a song called Ice Cream on there. Both hits. And he's got a song called
fond of it.
He's got a song called Bieber out recently, which is of the time. So
And we love Biebs.
we love the Biebs. So yeah, check out Skaiwater on SoundCloud.
Artist number 8, Virgil Hawkins. This is a great segue to my next artist, because he's a UK native as well.
Oh!
And if you know me, you know I love the UK scene. I'm a big grime fan. I
love Grimes.
like a lot of like the jazz rap that comes out of the UK, but this guy is neither. Doesn't really fall into the grime category and is definitely not a jazz hip hop artist.
Or UK drill.
This guy makes big use of autotune. I should say his name first before I keep describing him. Virgil Hawkins. Big proponent of autotune, melodic. I would have like damn near go as far to say like his ceiling is like the English Future. Like the way he puts together songs and like has like a lot of hype in every song, like is not what you're kind of trained or like used to hearing coming out of the UK. But he definitely still has an accent and like puts to use like the slang and stuff, some components of English rap that I appreciate and like, but does it in like a very American sounding format, which is exciting for me to see kind of that genre bending going on. Very low key right now. I know he hosted a Boiler Room that was like pretty big, that kind of got him on, and he got written up like in a few mags maybe last year, but only 2,200 on IG, maybe 40,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, but just released a project that was like a collab. Producer, I think, is HNRO, all caps, called Dragon Child Static. it's definitely worth a listen, and like some of the hardest shit I've heard coming out of England in a long time. Not to say y'all ain't hard, but you don't do it like us.
Right. Get down from there. Artist number 9, Darcy Baylis.
All right, so artist number... Wait. Sorry. Okay. All right, the next one I want to tell you about is Darcy Baylis.
Oh, yeah.
Darcy Baylis is a producer and singer from Australia. We're really going global with this one. I like this. Anyway, he has been called a pioneer of the emo trance movement.
Wow.
So
I love trance and emo. Just those words together sound good.
Right. So you know how emo rap got big. He works with some of the people that are involved in that scene. That's how I first heard of him, was producing for Wicca Springs Eternal. So Darcy Baylis put out a project called House Breaking last year. That is one of my favorite projects that I found that year. And he just makes music that is strange, because I was never really into house music or trance music in the traditional sense. Like when I first heard it on its own, it was never really a scene I got super into. But in that context, and combined with something that I like, which is emo music, I grew to like a lot of those sounds a lot. And he writes songs that sometimes I feel like the lyrics are like, not to dig on him or anything, but they would be corny, and they don't come off corny. They're very like, he says things that I'm like, about like scrolling through your phone and like stuff about Instagram and stuff like that I'm like, you know, I would otherwise like be a little bit like, but it just sounds good in the context of the way he makes the songs. And so I would definitely check out the song VIP, or wait, ICU/VIP. It's a really interesting song. And
ICUP.
ICUP Funny Colors is what it's, yeah. Right. No, ICU/VIP is a great song. The whole project that Darcy made, and then he produced Hardcore for Wicca Springs Eternal. I expect him to do a lot as a producer in 2020, but also as a solo artist. So
always love and respect an artist that, this seems to be the case, is just his name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You
I
know
think
what I
that's
mean?
probably just his government, if you will.
Love it.
Yeah.
I always like that.
You can't hide from that.
No, you can't.
If you want to run for office later, you got to face the music. Literally. So
Bars. Artist number 10, Girl Ultra. Well, that brings us to our final artist.
Yep.
Artist number 10, if you will.
No other artist will blow up except for this person and the other 9 we named.
This, honestly, I really am excited about all the artists I talked about, but the first one I mentioned, Kassa, really excited about. This is the one I'm most excited about. Girl Ultra.
Right.
Or your government, Mariana de Miguel.
Don't just air out her government, man.
Well, I mean, this is Mariana's artist name, Girl Ultra.
Okay.
Fans of R&B. This is not a rap or hip hop artist at all. This is straight 90s R&B nostalgia, pumped back with like a modern take, like, or at least from a modern perspective. She's from Mexico City, and the whole album Nuevos Aires is in Spanish entirely, except for one hook on like probably the biggest song off it, Fuck 'Em, classic jam. But if you're a fan of Erykah Badu, like Sade, any of that early 90s, early 2000s.
Is it
like
Sade or Sade?
Sade,
Right,
Sade,
right.
Sade.
Sade.
If you like that stuff, which I'm a big avid fan of, this is that all reincarnated with like a Spanish speaking flair to it, which is like an exciting element to hear over those 90s R&B sounding tracks.
Cool.
Yeah, it's outstanding stuff. She's going to be huge. She already has about 300,000 monthly listeners, which is a lot. So I'm sure someone out there watching has already heard of her and is like, yeah, you don't know shit. You're just getting hip late. Well, for of you that don't know her, go check it out.
I hadn't heard of her, so he's early for me.
You won't regret it. I promise.
All right, so those are the... Oh, whoa.
Oh, shit. Still rolling.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Signals again. You get better at reading those, but... No.
Oh, sorry.
No. Cool. So those are the 10 artists that we here at HIVEMIND think are gonna blow up in 2020, and not just think, we know it.
Fucking know it.
We know it.
Idiots.
Before we end this video, though, we want to check how we did in 2019 on our rappers that will blow up. We widened it to artists this year.
I thought you meant like on a personal level.
No. You're not ready to look at that scorecard.
No, there's no.
All right.
Can't even quantify that kind of failure.
Right. Let's check the scoreboard here. All right. So we put out this video in May of 2019. So we did it kind of late. So there's not that much time in between, but we do want to see the growth that the artists have had based on how excited we were at the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm checking my stocks.
Right. It does feel like that in a certain way. All right, so the first artist that we named in 2019 was Evan the Redheaded.
Stinky year for him.
So Evan, when we made the video, 3,700 followers on Instagram, now has 4,800 followers on Instagram.
Keep up that good work, Evan.
Moving up percentage-wise, definitely.
Content king, too.
Content king, yeah. And he put out a project on New Year's Day and is yet to put out some more videos from that.
Yep.
So, yeah. Evan, okay, second, Lil Darky. So that was in May that we brought up Lil Darky. We actually ended up a month and a half later going on tour with him. But he had 5,000 followers when we made that video and now has 28,000.
We weren't wrong there.
We definitely weren't wrong there. Definitely had a blow-up year.
Huge year, yeah.
And this year will probably be even bigger. So, next, Foggy Raw. Your boy Foggy.
My guy Foggy had a good year.
Yeah, so he went from 14,000 followers to 19,000 followers.
Yep.
Definitely I heard his name a lot more.
Yeah.
Since we made that video. So, then Baylis.
Huge.
Yeah, so she had 6,800 followers when we made that video, and now has 22,000.
And is hosting the Oscars, I think.
No, wrong
that's
one. Yeah.
Yep, my bad.
But she did just put out a photo shoot with Annie Nolker, which means
Who's the GOAT? Yeah, she's going straight to the top.
straight to the top. So
Fast tracker.
all right, and then Barney Artist is the next one, which we established in that video. He performs mostly in the suit.
Exactly.
14,000 followers and went to 18,000 followers.
Not bad.
So steady growth there.
Steady
for
growth,
him.
yeah.
And then Keyshore was next.
Keyshore, huge year.
Keyshore went from 25,000 followers to 28,000 followers, and he's on tour right now with Josiah and Ston. So shout out to Keyshore. Next, Curtis Roach, Detroit's own. Went from 14,000 followers to almost 18,000 followers, and had a big year on TikTok.
Yep.
So. And now he's also doing a residency at
Assemble
Assemble
Sound.
in Detroit.
Right here in the hometown, baby.
Yeah,
Shout
tap
out.
in with him. Curtis 2 Trill on Instagram. He had a project called Yellow. Is that right?
I think
or
so.
Lello?
Well.
Right. Mellow Yellow. Rossi Blue, funny enough, on Social Blade would not let me check because he doesn't have it as a business account on Instagram. It's his personal. So I don't know. But I think he had a pretty good year.
Definitely gained followers, didn't lose any.
Right, and his project was
Project was hard.
His project was really good. He put out like a pop project at the very end of 2019 that you should check out.
Good visuals from him in this last year too.
Right, Liam Walsh.
Yep.
Shout out to Liam. Abby the Nomad went from 18,000 followers to almost 26,000 followers.
Shout out the Nomad, wherever you're out, man. I know you don't live anywhere.
You're just moving
Yeah,
around,
you stay moving, but
Right.
shout out Abby. That was
Abby. And then Suicide Rascal, which it also wouldn't let me check because he doesn't have his as a business account because I assume Instagram would deny that swiftly.
Yeah, and he's been in like not a physical prison, but a mental prison for about the last 6 months.
Right.
Free my mans.
Free him, yeah. But yeah, no, he definitely went up in followers. And I mean, he had 2 songs blow up in 2019 after that.
Dropped the best video ever on our channel.
That's true. Doorstop. Check it out.
I'm just kidding, Grant. All your videos are great. So we were right. Every single one was right.
All I'm saying is we're trustworthy. We're trusty. We're crusty.
Trust him. I'm crusty.
We're crusty. We also named for the most part, the followers that these people have right now, so we can come back to it and we can decide whether we're right or wrong.
It's all a popularity game.
It is a popularity game. That's why we go with the Instagram numbers.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe,
listening, too.
like. Thanks for listening, and please comment below. Who is gonna blow up? Tell us. We need more people to check out. Okay.
If you don't like the artist we said, let us know why.
Yeah, let us know. All right. We'll catch you on the next one. And what else?
Wash your hands and try to recycle everything you can.